So I think this could end up being one of the biggest announcement days in Hearthstone's history. They have a giant patch that they've announced that's going to come out, the Fire Festival, and an announcement of the new expansion, and I will be getting into all of that right now. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. So first, we have the new expansion, United in Stormwind. We have the trailer, I haven't watched it, but I'm just going to jump into all of the cool stuff that they're going to be doing. So the first thing is a new keyword called Tradeables. Tradeables basically says, I'm going to skip the lore here, cards with the new tradable keyword can be played like normal, or for a lower cost of 1 mana, swap with a different card in your deck. I don't exactly know how this will be activated. Maybe before you play it, you just click this flip around button and then it'll become 2 mana. But I really like this effect because you have cards in here that are very good in the specific matchups. Like, let's just say the Rusttrop Viper, for the example. What this says is it's tradable, but it's a 3-mana 3/4, destroy your opponent's weapon. But let's say you're playing against a Warlock. Warlock isn't going to be running weapons. Actually, that's not true. Warlock does have a weapon down here, but let's just say hypothetically they didn't have a weapon, because that's a class that usually doesn't have a weapon. And you're like, oh, this matchup, I don't need to use this battle cry, so I will trade it out for something else in my deck, and it'll just allow you to have more consistency, and you don't need to use it right away. You could end up using it a couple turns down the line when you have some mana to burn, and that will be really good at increasing the consistency of your deck. I think that this could very easily slow down the meta because you're able to cycle through your deck more easily, and also include more tech cards like extra board wipe, extra armor gain, and weapon removal. And then also this rush minion, but a 3-mana 3/3 rush is kind of bad to begin with, so it's fine. These cards, though, are actually going to be good, and you can actually use these against aggro, but if you use them into a control matchup, you could still trade them out for something maybe better, higher value, and I really, really like that. It'll allow for more flexibility, and if done correctly, and the cards aren't too broken, or you don't get to, like, discover a card that you get to choose, it's just more, you just draw a new card. I feel like that could be really well designed. Next, we have quest lines. Quest lines are legendary spells that start in your hand and have 3 tiers of progression, which is really cool. So it gets a reward after you complete each step, and then ultimately at the end you will get a legendary mercenary minion. And I like this a lot because one of the big problems I had with quests in the past was, let's just say the Paladin quest, right, where you had to play 6 reborn minions. That was very hard to pull off a lot of the time. You had to have a reborn minion every single turn, without fail, and even then you'd really only get it by turn 6 at best because you played 1 per turn. And with this, you have levels to that, right? You'd have the big reward at the end, the new hero power, in this case a new legendary minion, but before that you could have 2 little ones, like something at 2 reborn minions and something at 4 reborn minions, like just something small, right? In this case, you take 6 damage on your turn, and you get a little effect to do a little bit of extra bonus damage to your opponent and heal a little bit. So really you only took 3 damage and then you did 3 to them. And this could be useful maybe in a Zoolock where you're trying to do damage to yourself, or maybe a Pain Warlock of some kind that's Control Warlock, depending on what the legendary minion is, and that could be cool. And it's really trying to push an identity of Warlock to take damage on their own turn. They're really pushing for that, but on the plus side, I think that they're going to give Warlock more healing or more tools, so that could be cool. Mage one I'm a little bit less excited about. You have to play 1 of each class. I like trying to focus on 1 class and pop off with that, but depending on what they end up coming out with, maybe it could be really, really cool to cast a Fire, Frost, and Arcane spell. Then we have mounts and professions. Weapons will be the professions, and they're basically tools that you can use to get effects that aren't attacks. And then you have mounts, which is very similar to the Stegadon Steed. I think it was a Paladin card back in the day, back in Ungoro, where it said give a minion +2/+6. I think it was 6 mana, maybe 7. Give a mana +2/+6, and then when that minion dies, summon a 2/6 taunt Stegadon. And that's basically what the mounts are doing. I'm going to talk about the mounts first because they're a little bit easier. So first we have the Elec, which says give a minion +4/+7 and taunt. When it dies, summon an Elec, which I'm assuming will have the ability of taunt. And then the next one is Ramming Mount, where give a minion +2/+2 and immune while attacking. And then when it dies, summon a Ram, which I'm assuming will have the same effect as the immune here, and 2/2 and then this will be a 4/7 with taunt at the end. And then you talk about the actual profession. So you have Warlock. After you draw 4 cards, so basically you have to gather the resources or the crafting reagents, and you will get an awesome effect. So with the Warlock, after you draw 4 cards, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1, which is very easy to do as a Warlock. Let's just say you're on the coin, right? You coin this out turn 2. Turn 3, you draw a card naturally, you play Backfire, all of a sudden, boom, you've drawn 4 cards, and you've reduced the cost of all of them by 1, which, especially if you have, like, say, Ticketus in your hand, could be really, really good for corrupting that guy. And hopefully Warlock gets a little bit more healing, but having this to reduce the cost of cards in their hand could be big, especially if you reduce something like Jiraxis as well for the late game. You could play him a turn early, or you could play him and Hero Power turn 10 when you wouldn't have been able to do that before. And then you have the Paladin one, which says after a friendly minion loses Divine Shield, give minions in your hand +1/+1. So it really goes towards the kind of buffing your dudes and try to get some tempo and big boards out there relatively early, and I like it. Next, we have the roadmap, and honestly, I could enlarge the Phase 2 here, but let's just look at the whole roadmap, because at first I thought we were going to get a new game mode in Phase 1, but we got a whole mini set, we got a card expansion, we got the rotation, we got a new format, we got the new core cards, we got a new like level of card rarity being diamond instead of just gold. I guess not rarity, but like card flashiness with diamond instead of just gold. So they came out with a lot of new stuff Phase 1, so I'm okay that they didn't come out with anything Phase 1 for Mercenaries. But their plan is to release Mercenaries in Phase 2. I don't know when in Phase 2, hopefully early on, or at least like midway through instead of maybe a mini set. But it'd be really, really sick to have that. They're also going to come out with a huge Battlegrounds change, some updates for duels, and another mini set. They're going to have a mini set every single phase, which I think is pretty cool. It just keeps the meta from getting too stale, and I will admit, even though the meta feels stale right now, the new mini set did make me excited to play the game for another like 2 weeks to a month after it came out. It's only now starting to wind down again, but they're really spacing it out to where there aren't as many big dips, right? It used to be like super high highs for Hearthstone when the expansion came, and it slowly dipped to like the bottom of my face cam right here, but now it's over time it'll dip to about here, but they come out with some new content and then it never goes that low, and then we have a new expansion and it bounces back and it doesn't go as low anymore, which I think is pretty cool. So that's basically it for this stuff. The only other thing that there is to announce is the pre-purchase bundle, which I'll probably do in giveaways on my 24-hour stream. For those of you who haven't seen it, when I announced it on stream, there will be a video that comes out on it probably tomorrow. There are going to be tournaments, hopefully content creator collaborations. I'm going to be doing my podcast a day or two early with Venga Dragon. I'm going to be doing normal Hearthstone. There will be giveaways. There'll be a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to be doing. I want it to be the biggest Hearthstone event literally ever. It's gonna be huge. That's my goal, basically. And then we are all going to get one free card when the patch goes live. So that's basically it. And the other thing about this, I didn't actually mention it, is this will all be going live on August 3rd, which is something I predicted on the podcast. I think I said August 5th or 3rd, but I got it mostly right, and that's pretty cool. But let's move on to the actual patch notes. So, we have the patch notes. August 3rd, there will be 135 new cards. You will have the pre-purchase, we already covered that. But then, we have the new card that they will be giving us when these patches go live. And the new patch will be released on July 1st, which is today. All this stuff is going live today, right now, basically. The new card is Flightmaster. Dude, I'm so sorry. Flightmaster Dungar. I'm sorry. There's probably an actual name or way to pronounce it. I just haven't played WoW in a really long time, so I apologize. But the Flightmaster. And what he does is when he goes dormant, you'll be able to choose 3 different effects, which are really, really cool. So the first one is Westfall. You're dormant for 1 turn, and you summon a 2/2 adventurer. and it gets a random bonus effect, obviously like the adventures normally do. You can't see it, sorry, let me show you right there. Next one is after 3 turns of being dormant, restore 10 HP, which is actually huge, and I think with an aggro meta as the focus, this is going to be the one I pick the most, and I'm going to put this into every single control deck that I have. And then also you have the Eastern Plague Lands. In 5 turns, deal 12 damage randomly split among all enemies. This could also be good, but for a dormancy of 5 turns, I feel like it's a bit long. I really wish that there was a way to like, I really wish it was like 1, 3, 4 maybe, or 1, 2, 3 with a slightly worse effect, like 2 would be 7 health, and then 3 would be like 8 damage. Because a commitment of 5 turns of being dormant's a bit high, but I really like Ironforge, and if you are the aggressor, let's say you put this in a more aggro tempo-based deck, I think Westfall could be pretty decent as well, so that could be pretty cool. And then we go to Battlegrounds. I don't know a lot about Battlegrounds, but just know the idea is they're going to rework the ability of about 10 different heroes, come out with a new hero, and they're going to rework, I think they said up to about 30 cards. That's the plan. And then they're going to be coming back out. This is just like the tip of the iceberg of stuff that they're going to do. I think there are more cards that are going to be changed. Then you get to the Battlegrounds where they're going to bring back prizes. They're only going to be back in 25% of games to just increase the spice and randomness, which I think is pretty cool. But again, I don't know too much about Battlegrounds, so don't get too excited on my account. And then we have the Fire Festival. The Fire Festival is huge. It'll go live on July 6th until July 27th. And we will get 7 legendary quests. We will get 6 packs for these legendary quests and a new cosmetic, which I think is super duper cool. And then after the 27th, there'll also be a Fire Festival Tavern Brawl, which will be pretty cool as well. Probably some cool rewards. A Burn Down Brawl with some probably more special event stuff with maybe some extra awards. And then if Fiery looks into the Eternal Flame bundle, where you'll be able to get 3 cosmetics and a new card back. Probably it'll cost some money though. If you're able to buy it with gold, I might look into it, but I'm not entirely sure. And then last but not least, we have the After Party, which will bring the first ever Battlegrounds cosmetics, where you'll be able to, well, buy Battlegrounds cosmetics. I don't play Battlegrounds that much, but these do look pretty spicy and cool. I might get 1 or 2 of them, because I do play Battlegrounds with friends occasionally, and if I can get one on some of my favorite characters, that'll be huge. But the whole point is we will be swapping out over 30 existing minions for new ones, and then they're going to be nerfing or changing all of the ones that you see, or that you saw in the previous thing right here, where we went through all of these cards, blah, 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 blah. Let's just scroll down real quick. All these cards, these are the ones that I think are staying, and then they're also going to be reworking a ton of cards here. So there's never really been a better time to get into Battlegrounds, and I might start dabbling with it a little bit. I'm not sure. Probably still going to just play it casually with friends, but that is it. Those are a ton of the announcements. A new keyword, a new card that we're getting. We're getting a Fire Festival within the next week. They're doing huge Battleground changes that might cause me to play a little bit of Battlegrounds, maybe to end off the streams. I don't know if I'll make videos on it, but if you guys want videos, I might. But to end off the stream, I might play 1 game of Battlegrounds to de-tilt, because I think that the games are pretty fun and less tilting than, you know, normal Hearthstone. And new quests, new tools and mounts, so new like strategies that you can use with classes. The new game mode will be coming out, although that's not coming out right now. It will be coming out soon. Tons and tons and tons of cool stuff. So I'd highly recommend, if you are considering going away of Hearthstone, you know, quitting Hearthstone, I would say don't do that. And I'm not just saying that because my livelihood relies on the game to be popular and at least big enough to make money. I'm saying it because I actually think that this is going to be a really, really good expansion. I do. I really like Tradeable. I really like the quest line, and although the level 1 looks a little bit weak, I'm assuming level 2 will be good and level 3 will be insane. And then you also have the fact that they're pushing some new unique strategies, which I think could slow down the game a little bit. You have ways of getting big taunt minions against aggro decks, especially if you reduce the cost of this with, like, say, palm reading or something. This could be very good in maybe Miracle Priest, slowly reducing the cost of this card and making a bigger version, and then maybe making a copy of this bigger version that has like a death rattle, a new death rattle that summons the Elec. You can make a copy of that in a Miracle Priest, which could be super duper cool. I just really think that this will push towards a slower style of game. This right here, the heavy plate and the fire sales, really makes me think that the meta is going to slow down. It's giving mage good removal, it's giving warrior more armor gain, which is something that I really needed, and some weapon removal that's better than Acidic Swamp Ooze because you can cycle it out, all of which is very good. Like, if Acidic Swamp Ooze had this, Acidic Swamp Ooze would be broken. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. You guys can watch a cinematic trailer if you want. I didn't really want to watch it for like copyright reasons. And that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz, and I will see you in the next one.